Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching Derry Community Television. I am your host, Kate Jenness, and joining me today is a local filmmaker who directed a short horror film called Thorn. Nick Saporito is joining me in studio today to discuss what went into creating the 8-minute film. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about Thorn.
Thorn is a short horror film that I directed, co-wrote, and was the director of photography on about a serial killer named Rose who is telling stories to a little kid, and you know, it's like, to him, is it fantasy or is it reality? And then she's being chased by two a detective and a police officer, and it's the whole cat and mouse of it.
So it's a thought-provoking short horror film. Did you find it difficult to pack in everything in just 8 minutes?
It did, you know, because originally I wrote it for 13, 16 pages, and then, you know, all that being sliced off, and it's like, all right, so 8 minutes.
Where did you do most of the filming?
We filmed 3 locations. I think the most we filmed was Derry, New Hampshire. We also filmed in Waltham, Mass, and Deering, New Hampshire as well.
What goes into finding a good location for filming? What do you look for?
I guess it just depends on the atmosphere of the movie, you know. Like for horror instance, you have to find like a creepy tone to it.
Right.
Like, just make sure that, you know, it's there's not going to be like lots of people in the background or just like coming up, want to be an extra. I mean, we we actually had that during filming. A guy was approaching us, and we thought he was going to tell us to get off, but you know,
Did you leave him in?
No, he said he was going to call. He was actually going to call the Derry News, and we never heard from them. So.
Oh, well, I guess not. Who plays Rose Jacobs in the film?
Rose Jacobs is played by Maria Olsen. She's in a bunch of movies. One of her films that most people would probably recognize her as Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief. She plays a teacher. I can't think of the name off the top of my head right now, but she's also in the trailer. She's also been in Paranormal Activity 3.
Who else was involved in making this film?
A couple of friends of mine, Garrett Payson, Brandon Joyle, and Jordan Burton, who are also friends of our friend John as well.
And John's the writer.
John is the writer of Thorn, you know, and before and after his passing, I helped write the rest of the script for him and all. We were all friends with John and all, and a lot of the, I mean, some of the film crew knew him too, and some of them just didn't. So like when walking up to this production, you know, just trying to, you know, being interviewed or that, you know, they kind of stumbled upon that part, so.
Tell us about John Hernandez.
John Hernandez was a very funny type of wisecracking, great guy to be around. He loved many things, you know. He lived by the motto of just live every day as your last. He was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia and passed away June 2013.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So this film is a tribute to him in a way. It's his friends coming together and completing his vision.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd be happy with how the film turned out?
I think he would be. I mean, there are some aspects that I know he would definitely have done, but we didn't have the money for that. But
Big imagination.
Yeah.
So in conjunction with this film, you were also filming Our Friend John.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Our Friend John is a documentary on the filming of Thorn and like what went into it, people that inspired him, people that knew him, people that were also part of the Thorn crew and all. And yeah, that's.
Are you going to show them together, or are they to be shown separately?
We're gonna try to show them as best we can, because some film festivals do have like the short, like they'll show, and then they'll have the longer film that they'll show in the category. So It just depends, because I mean, I feel like because they both go together and all, and I think people would kind of be confused if they didn't watch one or versus the other.
Right, they complement one another.
Yeah.
So Rose Thorn and our friend John are getting ready to debut on the film festival circuit. What are your plans? Are you what festivals do you plan to enter them into?
We're looking at entering the Snob, Manhattan Short Film Fest. I mean, we could go to all means Toronto and Sundance. I don't know how hard it is to get into those.
Definitely check it out.
But just,
Mostly, you're going to start off local and eventually work your way up and see what success it has.
Because we have crew members that are from California, so they could also help get that branch, but we get the New England branch.
And what's the best way for people to find out information for where to see the film and what decisions you make going forward?
We have two, a IMDb page for our friend John and Rose Thorn. We also have a Facebook page for our friend John. It's called Our Friend John, the documentary. You can join that if you'd like, and you can be more, it just updates. We haven't had an update in a while, but you know, as soon as we start premiering more, we're gonna be spamming you guys with
plenty of updates.
You know, if anyone wants to contact me, you know, you can also do that. You can reach me on my cell phone, 603-479-0630. You could also find me on Facebook, Nick Saporito. You can also email me, nicksapo7@comcast.net, and I will get back to you. You on the cell phone, you can text, call.
Great.
Yeah.
What was the role of Anti-Hero Productions in the filmmaking process?
Anti-Hero Productions is a film company from Edward Payson. He's a indie horror film director from California. His brother Garrett Payson was one of the assistant directors on Rose Thorn, and he also directed Our Friend John as well. And you know, he was the one who gave me the script of Rose Thorn, told me that he wanted me to be the director, all this stuff, and you know, I remember the biggest smile on my face when I got that call.
Let's talk about some of your future projects. What are you working on right now?
One of them is definitely getting Rose Thorn and Our Friend John out there. You know, also trying to promote another movie that I acted in called Stephen Out of Place. Can be found on YouTube, and we're going to be submitting that one to a couple more film festivals. I'm also a co-host for the Coffee Factory Open Mic Night and all. It's really fun stuff. I also I'm working on two movies right now. I'm actually looking at starting my own production company too, with a good friend of mine named Luke Hayes, and you know,
You're a busy guy.
I am a busy guy, you know, because I'm like we're trying to figure out like what film do we want to do. We have one about a thriller, one another horror movie, and then another about some historical thing. So.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you so much luck with all the film festivals that you enter, and I hope you come back and show us all your work.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Derry Community Television. Stay tuned to Channel 23 for more locally produced programming.